everyone, I'm Leslie, and I travel the world looking for everything different, unique, and the more off the beaten path, the better. So today we're going to a country that is the only country in the world that has the word love in its name, and it's shaped like a chicken. Just such a cool place. Let's go check it out. So did you watch the last video on Trieste, Italy? If you didn't, go check it out. It was our last stop in Italy on the Ultimate World Cruise. And on that video, I said that Trieste is so close to Slovenia, you can literally walk across. We are on the Ultimate World Cruise. We took the cruise ship from Trieste, just around the little cove, into Koper, Slovenia. Now, this is the second time that I've been to Slovenia, and this is a radically different experience than the first time. So this video today is going to compare. One is cruising into the cruise port, spending the day in Koper. The other is a land trip that I did in 2019 with a set of 8 of my girlfriends. So I'm gonna compare both because there are pros and cons definitely to both. So today, when we arrive into Koper, Slovenia on the Ultimate World Cruise, our plan is that we have an excursion through Royal Caribbean to go to Lake Bled. Now, if you recall, we don't do a lot of excursions or planned excursions, mostly because we don't want to get stuck on a bus. But if we have a distance to travel, or obviously have to fly, we've been booking excursions. If you book them direct through the cruise line, they guarantee the ship will wait for you if there's any issue with you getting back on board. So stay tuned. And we're gonna head our way out from Koper to Lake Bled. Now, Lake Bled is in the little town of Bled, Slovenia. And if you're ever in Slovenia and you don't do anything other than go to Lake Bled, it is an absolute must-see. And if you don't already have Slovenia on your bucket list, put it on your bucket list. It is, and Lake Bled specifically, is absolutely drop dead, beautiful, serene, just the most stunning landscape that you will ever see. So let me show you some pictures about Lake Bled and let me just tell you all about it. In the middle of the lake is the Mother of God Church, and it is like a beacon in the middle of this lake. It's so beautiful. I can't even describe it. Hopefully the pictures will articulate it. It's so serene and just so beautiful. So in order to get to the island, you have to take a pletna, which is kind of like a Venetian gondola, which is quite an esteemed vocation that cannot be done by just anyone. During the reign of Maria Theresa, the ownership rights for pletna boats were given to farmers who received poorer land for cultivation. The title of a pletna oarsman was handed down from generation to generation, which is why the profession has remained in individual families throughout the centuries. The pletna boats are about 18 euro per adult, and it takes about 30 minutes. Typically, they give you about 40 minutes to see the island. I'll tell you about the church and the island, and then you get back on the boat and it'll take you back. There are only 23 of these pletna boats on the lake. And there are several different stops around the lake where you can get a boat and have it take you across to the island. You want to remember which boat you were on and where you got it from, because once you get to the island, you want to make sure you get back on that same boat to get back to the same location you started at, obviously, if that's important to you. The lake has a 6-kilometer path that runs all the way around the lake. So you could take a boat to a different location and then walk the lake. When I was here with my girlfriends, we walked the entire lake, and not only is it a great little exercise, but it also gives you a vantage point of the island, the castle. I'll tell you about the castle up on the hill. It's just beautiful, and you can see it from every different angle. Once you get over to the island, there's the Mother of God Chapel, and within the chapel, there's an entrance to get into the chapel, and then you can ring the bell within the chapel, which I did when I was here with my girlfriends. Our excursion didn't allow for enough time for us to get the boat to get over to the castle. So let's talk about that for a second. So there's definitely pros and cons to cruising and land travel. But one thing that we noticed on the Ultimate World Cruise is that when you have a limited amount of time in port, it can restrict what you're able to do and what you're able to see. So I could see going to Lake Bled and thinking, wow, this would be really cool to come back to if you didn't see everything that you wanted to see there. But a lot of these ports, you're not really able to go back to, or you may not go back to ever again. So it would have been nice to be able to have more time, because when I was here with my girlfriends, we not only took the boat over, we were in the chapel, we spent quite a bit of time in there. There's a cafe, a little gift shop on the island. Then we took the boats back, we walked the entire lake, we went up to the castle. So you get my point. Just having the time to be able to do the things while you're here is super important. And on this excursion on the cruise, we really only had time to go to Lake Bled to see it, and then he took us up to the castle. And seeing it and seeing the landscape, it's so beautiful that it's definitely worth it. But having been there and going across, I was really disappointed to be able to get over to the island, especially considering it's half hour over, half hour back, and 40 minutes on. That's only an hour and 40 minutes. If they had planned the excursion a little better, I think we would have had enough time to get on the island and still see the castle. So back to me telling you about Lake Bled and about the pletna boats and about the Mother of God Chapel and the castle. It's just such a cool place. So you can alternatively rent your own boat. It's not a pletna boat. Obviously, if you rent your own boat, you're getting kind of a rowboat. but it'll allow you to row around the lake, and you can row yourself over to the chapel. The first brick of the church was laid in 1142, and after multiple earthquakes, the current 17th century Gothic church is what you see standing today. The Bled Castle was built as a fortress in 1109 and rebuilt in 1511 after the earthquake. The castle is cool, also in a hike, for lack of a better word. Our bus obviously dropped us off at the entry, but it's a significant walk to get up to the entrance of the castle, so just keep that in mind. But it's cool because they have a printing press, active printing press in the castle. There's a wine cellar, there's a chapel, there's a museum. There's a grapevine from the oldest vineyard here at the castle. The vineyard is the Maribor, which has been in existence for more than 400 years. The views from the castle. If you don't do anything else within the castle, but just go to the outside section of the fortress, the view down on the lake and of the island are just spectacular from the castle.
It was rough.
The other thing that we saw when we were at the castle is across the water, there is a toboggan that you can get in a toboggan and take it down the side of the mountain. I'll tag the toboggan company. It just looked really cool. We obviously didn't have time to go over there, but it looked really cool to watch them come down in the toboggan from the castle. So we walked a little bit of Lake Bled. We of course have to stop to get one of the notorious cream cakes. This is like a layered, let me tell you how they describe this cream cake. So listen to this. Trying the original Bled cream cake is truly a unique experience. Your fork will pierce the crunchy, puffy pastry crust, and then you'll scoop all 4 layers together. The crunch of the crust and the intermingling flavors of the heavenly fluffy egg, custard, and whipped cream. They use only original, fresh, and quality ingredients: fresh eggs, flour, whipped cream, milk, sugar, and butter. The freshness of the eggs are essential in preparing the cake. And let me tell you, it is delicious. I remember when I was here with my girlfriends, the tour guide told us then that like no matter what we did, we had to stop and get this cream cake. And I remember thinking like, okay. And we actually had two. He took us to one place and then took us to another place because it was that good. And I knew when Roy and I were there, no matter how much limited time we had to spend in Lake Bled, we were going to get a cream cake. So as we're doing the kind of circling the island and checking things out, since we didn't have time to go to the island, we were getting a cream cake and we had it. And it was delicious. And I'm actually thinking I need to figure out how to make it at home because it was so good. Obviously, it's the freshness of the eggs. So we load back into the tour bus in way too short of a time at Lake Bled to explore. Kind of bummed out. We had a beautiful day and it's so gorgeous there, but we definitely did not have enough time. And we could have skipped Ljubljana, to be honest. Obviously, having never been there, it would be cool to see the city, but not at the sake of leaving Lake Bled. So we have to go by it on the way back to the cruise ship. So it's part of the excursion to see Ljubljana. So, however, we again don't have a lot of time here. So we see a little bit of the city. I stayed in Ljubljana when I was here with my girlfriends. And so it's so sweet. It's so welcoming, super clean. Very young and vibrant. All the locals and tourists are on the streets. You eat on the streets. You literally pull up a step and eat. There's a lot of mingling just on the streets. So one of the things that we wanted to see while we were in Ljubljana is just like the main court area and crossing over the canals are really cool because there are dragons everywhere in Slovenia. Legend suggests that Jason was the founder of Ljubljana and that he and his agronauts killed a dragon. Local legend accords that when a virgin crosses the bridge, the dragons wag their tails. Absolutely loved Ljubljana, but we didn't have enough time to really see that. So we're gonna walk and grab ourselves something to eat quick. And in the central market is one place you don't wanna miss in Ljubljana. It's just rows and rows and rows of markets and food and shops and then there's like city steps. And so everybody would grab their food, grab their drinks, and just sit on the steps. We grabbed ourselves a little bit of lunch. But then we quickly have to gather the rest of the people because we all kind of went in different directions at this part of the tour, which they don't normally let you do. But we were like, we want to see different things, and we just kind of wander around, and we were hungry. And so we had to gather the troops back up because now we're getting super concerned about the time to get back to the cruise ship by 5:30. We have an hour and 15 minute on a good day drive back from Ljubljana to Koper. There's of course an accident on the freeway, and there's tons of coastal traffic from everybody leaving the cities and going and spending the day on the coast. And so the traffic is insane. So we're kind of like doing Like, uh-oh. At one point, our tour guide actually goes down into a dry riverbed because he got off the freeway and is going side street.
Google says it's a store.
We made it, but so you know what's going to be an hour and a half, 2 hour bus ride turns into like 3 hours and 15 minutes, which is part of the reason why we're always kind of like on whether or not we want to take a tour on a bus, because you spend so much time on the bus and such little time in the actual location. But anyway, we loved Lake Bled, we loved Ljubljana, we just wish we would have spent more time there. And rewinding to my trip in 2019 that I went with my girlfriends, I just want to tell you a couple things that we did in addition while we were in Slovenia that if you're in this area, you definitely want to do. One of those things is this is Predjama Castle. It's about an hour or so from Koper. It's built into the rock. It is stunning. Right by the castle is the Postojna cave system. It's 24-kilometer cave system that has the stalagmites and the stalactites. And we went through the cave system and then toured the castle. And yeah, it's another not to be missed sight. Just seeing the castle built into the hill. But you can tour the castle and it's gorgeous inside. Views from it are amazing. The caves are super cool. So it's just a really cool area you don't want to miss. The other thing that I did is we went truffle hunting. Slovenia is known for its black truffles. I'm a huge animal lover. I have puppies, and so meeting the truffle dogs and going truffle hunting. The company that we did the truffle hunting through, the two women that ran it were extraordinary. I'll put their information below. They did a whole spread with different meats and cheeses and truffles. We had truffles with eggs. We had truffles on cracker, and then they have a whole shop that you can buy truffle everything in. The dogs are amazing. They were super hospitable. Another super cool thing to do in Slovenia. The other thing is that I put on the original slide about the different fun facts of Slovenia is those Lippenzoner horses. We went to a Lippenzoner farm and watched the horses perform. And if you haven't seen Lippenzoner horses, Google it. They're the horses that dance to music and are extraordinary. That was such a cool experience. We could walk through the farms with the horses, and then we sat down and watched the horse show, and just a really cool experience. When I was here in 2019, we spent about 3 weeks touring Slovenia and Croatia. And so we had time to really sit down in these areas and do these extra things and go to these different locations. So if you're in Slovenia, don't miss Lake Bled, don't miss Ljubljana. Try to get to his Lippenzoner show. Do the truffle hunting if you can. It's just super fun and snuggly with the puppies. And try to see the castle. Slovenia is beautiful. You will absolutely love it. So I hope that you enjoyed the video on Slovenia today. I hope you don't mind that I kind of mixed the two trips. I wanted to kind of show you both sides of it. If you have any comments about the video, anything that you've seen in Slovenia today, be sure to put it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be notified of the next stop. Next up, we're in Croatia, and I'm so excited to show you that because I've got tons of info from the 2019 Croatia trip and then our stop here on the cruise ship. So as always, thank you so much for being here, watching the videos. Your time is valuable, and I know you could be anywhere right now, and I just super appreciate you being here, sharing my experience with the World Cruise and Slovenia with you today. So until Croatia, bye for now.